Hello and a very warm welcome to the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, where we bring you important unstarred questions that were asked by the members of the Rajya Sabha during the previous session. I'm Kriti Mishra and joining me is my colleague Akhilesh Suman. So Akhilesh, let's take our viewers through important questions and answers compiled for them in this edition of Question Hour. So the first question in this edition of Question Hour is from member Susmit Patra, and this one pertains to the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And Mr. Patra has asked about the number of people who have been imparted skill development training. And a more important question to this is the employment opportunities created in the country in the last 5 years due to ministry's initiatives.
Right, Kriti, as you know that skilling is one of the major missions of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and so the answer is very important. Under Skill India mission, the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship imparts employable skills to the youth through long-term and short-term training. The ministry is implementing its flagship scheme, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, that is known as PMKVY 1.0, launched in 2015 to provide employable skills to youth of the nation. Under PMKVY 1.0, a total of 19.85 lakh candidates were trained. Owing to the success of this first phase, the scheme was relaunched in October 2016 called PMKVY 2.0, 2016 to 2020. On pan-India basis, with a target to provide skilling to 1 crore people under short-term training, recognition of prior learning and special project across country over 4 years. As on 20 June 2019, a total of 52.12 lakh candidates have been trained under PMKVY 2.0. Employment generation together with improving employability of youth is priority of the government. Therefore, most skill development programs lay emphasis on placements. That is very important. The PMKVY 2.0 mandates training providers to facilitate placement of certified candidates. TPs need to organize placement Rozgar Melas every 6 months with support from the sector skill councils and to ensure participation of local industry along with awareness. National Skill Development Corporation PPP company under MSDE has also empaneled placement partners with the objective of ensuring placement opportunities to PMKVY certified candidates not placed by TP within 90 days from the date of certification. So, this is quite important that you have to do it within 90 days. And the next question, Kriti, is by the member Vijila Satyanath. She asked whether it is a fact that around 1 lakh additional mobile towers are needed to take care of growing data and voice requirements, because many a times that people complain about data breakage, also call drops. So, I think the question is in that context, and this is very important. So, what is the answer, Kriti?
Well, absolutely, Akhilesh. This is a very important answer to all the telecom subscribers, and in this response, the government says that the telecom service providers install additional towers to improve coverage or capacity of their networks based on their techno-commercial requirements on a regular basis. A total of 72,000 additional mobile towers were installed in the country during the financial year 2018-19. No authentic estimate of addition in mobile tower base in future is available with the department as of now. There were 5,57,543 mobile towers in the country as on 30th of June 2019. In order to facilitate expansion of telecommunication services, the Department of Telecommunications has initiated a series of policy initiatives and development programs. Now, these development programs include making available sufficient spectrum for mobile services, including auction of 965 megahertz across different bands, that is 700, 800, 900, 1800, 2100, 2300, 2500 megahertz bands in the year 2016. Allowing spectrum sharing, trading and liberalization of administratively allocated spectrum, permitting sharing of active as well as passive infrastructure by telecom service providers for achieving higher utilization efficiency. Notification of Indian Telegraph Right-of-Way Rules 2016 dated 15th of November 2016 for enabling development of underground infrastructure or optical fiber and overground infrastructure or mobile towers. And lastly, periodic review of expansion of mobile networks and related improvements carried out by telecom service providers. Moving on to the next question asked by member Ahmed Hassan, and this one pertains to the Department of North-Eastern Region. And Mr. Hassan has asked the status of implementation of North-Eastern Region Vision 2020 unveiled by the Prime Minister of India.
And as you know, the Kriti, that Rajya Sabha is the Council of States, and Rajya Sabha takes care of the concerns of states, and that is why the question is very pertinent as far as northeastern states are concerned. So the minister says that Northeastern Region Vision 2020 document provides an overarching framework for the development of Northeastern region to bring it at par with other developed regions, under which different ministries, including Ministry of Development of Northeastern region, have undertaken various initiatives. So it's quite attention it has got. The outlays by central ministries in Northeastern region have increased substantially. Mandatory earmarking of at least 10% of GBS of central ministries departments for Northeastern region and creation of non-lapsable central pool of resources has augmented resource flow to the region. There has been a sharp rise in provisional expenditure subject to final weighting by Ministry of Finance by central ministries in the Northeastern region by 83% from rupees 24,819.18 crore in 2014-15 to 45,518.14 crore in 2018-19. An allocation of 59,369.90 crore during 2019-20 has been made for the Northeastern region, including Ministry of Donor. Strengthening infrastructure and connectivity is a major thrust area identified by the vision document. Several connectivity initiatives have been undertaken in the recent past. In the last 5 years, under the scheme of Ministry of Donors, road projects worth rupees 1,711.19 crore were sanctioned, and under a scheme of Northeastern Council, rupees 1,573.56 crore was released for development of infrastructure like roads and bridges, ISBT, airports, railways in Northeastern region. So it seems that government is giving much attention to Northeastern region, Kriti. And let us come to the next question. The question has been asked by the member Parimal Nathwani, and the question is related to Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution Ministry. The question is whether government is aware that food grains are wasted every year during the rainy season due to lack of proper storage facilities. If so, the details thereof, and the action plan prepared by the government to deal with the problem. So, plenty of food grain, but you need to store it. What is the answer of the minister?
Well, it's a very specific response the government has given to the question of Mr. Parimal Nathwani, and the government goes on to say that no wastage or damage of central pool food grains, wheat or rice stored in godowns of Food Corporation of India can be directly attributed due to lack of proper storage facilities during rainy season. The government further goes on to say that as on 30th of June 2019, storage capacity available with FCI for central pool stock is 407.31 lakh metric ton. And also in addition, 471.24 lakh metric ton is utilized by state governments for keeping central pool of stock. And as on 1st of July 2019, the quantity of 742.52 lakh metric ton central pool stock is stored in FCI godowns, both owned and hired. The capacity utilization of FCI godowns varies from month to month depending on the level of procurement and movement of the food grains across the country. Let's move on to the next question, and this one has been asked by member Vijay Goel, and this one also pertains to the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. And Mr. Goel has asked whether the government proposes to introduce one nation, one ration card to help migrant workers, and also the tentative date by which that said scheme is proposed to be implemented.
Right, Kriti. The government says to sustain the reforms brought in by scheme on end-to-end computerization of targeted public distribution system, that is also known as TPDS operations, the Department of Food and Public Distribution has launched the new scheme, namely Integrated Management of Public Distribution System, for implementation during 2018-19 and 2019-20. The main objective of the scheme is to introduce nationwide portability of ration card. This is very important. Under National Food Security Act 2013, to lift under entitlement food grains from any FPS in the country without the need to obtain a new ration card by integrating the existing PDS system, portals of a state, UTs with central system portals, etc. And you know that with Aadhaar number everyone is having, I think this portability is quite easy now. Keeping in view the physical progress under ongoing scheme and readiness for implementation of national portability in few states, it has been decided to implement interstate national portability on a pilot basis in few states shortly. Further, as and when any state UT achieve the readiness, it will be added on the national portability platform public distribution system network to provide the benefit of national interstate portability to all ration card holders under NFSA. Presently, NFSA provides the coverage of 81.34 crore persons across the country. So, work is going on. And the next question, Kriti, is raised by Muhammad Nadimul Haq. And the question is again pertaining to consumer affairs, food and public distribution. He has asked whether the government is thinking of coming up with a legislation on direct selling.
Well, given a comprehensive reply, the government goes on to say that Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Department of Consumer Affairs notified the direct selling guidelines 2016 in the Gazette of India on 26th of October 2016 as guiding principle for state governments to consider regulating the business of direct selling and multi-level marketing and strengthening the existing regulatory mechanism on direct selling and multi-level marketing for preventing any fraud and protecting the legitimate rights of the consumers and also the interests of the consumers. State governments and union territories, being enforcement agencies, may take necessary action to implement these guidelines. In terms of the direct selling guidelines 2016, state governments will set up a mechanism to monitor or supervise the activities of direct sellers, direct selling entities regarding the compliance with the guidelines. Besides, the Consumer Protection Bill 2019 has also been passed by Parliament, which seeks to provide the measures to be taken by the central government to prevent unfair trade practices in direct selling. The government further says that in terms of the direct selling guidelines 2016, no person or entity will participate in money circulation scheme in the garb of direct selling business. Ministry of Finance, Department of Financial Services has already intimated that there is no information available with them that law enforcement agencies are wrongfully booking genuine direct selling firms under the Price Chits and Money Circulation Scheme Banning Act 1978. So, Akhilesh, these were the important questions and answers for our viewers in this edition of Question Hour. But on the other side, we'll have Arun Kumar Singh and Kriti Singh with Prashnakal in Hindi. Stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.